Welcome to What in the Smut podcast.
Where the books are horny and so are we. I'm Elle.
And I'm Kay. So I'm scared to ask what's going on in the Smutverse this week.
I'm going to be real with you. I pulled up trusty threads to read through and find the bookish drama for this week's Smutverse. And all I found was just an outpouring of grief and rage.
Yep.
I won't tell you the details. You can look for CNN's reporting on the Rape Academy. Everyone was talking about it. There was no room for complaints about the words we use in our smut, or whether audiobooks count as reading, or allegations of AI use. But it's a good reminder that the majority of readers of any kind, of any genre, are women. You will find that majority increases in some genres, as roughly 80% of romance readers are women. But the bookish community as a whole is majority female. And when shit like this happens, I'm no longer a podcaster. I'm not a reader. I am a woman in a world that feels increasingly unsafe for women. And I sobbed. I sobbed as I read the stories from this investigation and from the ones that people posted in its wake. And I have nothing left but rage and grief and the realization that what sometimes feels pointless is actually more important with every passing day. Reading makes you a better person. It just does. It makes you more empathetic. It gives you more access to cultures and perspectives that you would never have otherwise been able to see from the inside out. It gives you a community where you can let it all out. So while the book we're talking about this week is ridiculous, the important part is that we're reading and we're talking about it and we're making a safe space for the people who need it.
I did see that pop up and I couldn't continue to go down the rabbit hole. I did not read the article because it can't not be true, unfortunately, in this day.
Yeah. It was horrible. And
unfortunately, the state of the world right now is putting people that do things like that in places of high esteem, which is devastating. So
cheers to that.
Let's remember that we can keep both our rage and our whimsy.
Yes. Hold on to your rage. Hold on to your whimsy. And hold on. I don't know. Just fucking hold on. This book this week, I am fucking here for it. Kay, what did we read this week?
So the title's a mouthful. We read Pounded in the Butt by my handsome sentient library card who seems otherworldly, but in reality is just a natural part of the priceless resources our library system provides, by Chuck Tingle. And the synopsis says, Mark is having a rough time in his new apartment. The place is small and it's impossible to focus when his neighbor won't stop making and subsequently popping balloon animals. Things are looking bleak, but when it appears that there might be a solution to Mark's problem in the form of a magical artifact, he jumps at the chance to find it. Now, Mark is on the hunt for a magical object known as the library card. The man's hunt leading him to a nearby public library. It's only here that Mark realizes his quest isn't quite as magical as he initially thought, or is it? With the help of a handsome sentient library card named Yorko, Mark is about to discover the true power of the library with a hardcore gay pounding. Where would you put this one on our smut scale?
Like a 2, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. There's nothing too out there.
Yeah, it's like one. I say level 2, a hump in the night. One participant is sometimes a monster or inanimate object, but otherwise sex is very straightforward and there are still only 2 participants. So this is a classic level 2.
Classic level 2, and this is a classic tingler.
It is a classic tingler. I mean, Chuck Tingle, I love whatever goes on in that man's brain. It's just not all men. Chuck Tingle would never do this to me.
Would you say, are there any trigger warnings in this one? I feel like...
Aside from anal?
Yeah. I
Which I don't
mean,
think is a trigger warning. It's just a description of the sex that we've got going on. You know what? I think that the capitalist hellscape of being ashamed of how much money you make and not having enough money for internet, that could be a trigger.
yeah.
That sent me back.
Also, there's kind of semi-public sex, but like,
Semi-public sex, yeah. The stacks in the library are still a public place.
they're in like some secret room kind of thing.
That's true, but like I don't know. I still there was still that element that like somebody could walk in at any
Yes.
moment.
Yes, which I hate.
I also hate. I wouldn't be able to get off in a situation like that.
No.
I'd be like, "Could you please lock the door, Yorko?"
I don't know though. I feel like Mark didn't have a shot of not getting off, I think is really what it comes down to.
True.
This had a 3.7 on Amazon and a 3.5 on Goodreads. A 5-star from Amazon says interesting. Exactly what I expected, and yet I was surprised.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
And then a 4-star said creative and steamy. It's a short story, but highly imaginative. It has a pretty good smutty scene. It was a great break from my mundane routine.
You know what? What a mood. Goodreads is a little less charitable. A 3-star says, "What the fuck did I just read? I feel like this person gets high as fuck and writes some books. I laughed the entire time. I saw this in a book group on Facebook and just had to read it. Definitely something to read between books to get your head ready for something new." They're defining this as a palate cleanser. And like, I feel like this is a dessert. This is a really, really rich dessert. I think you should end your night with this.
And it's a quick one, too.
Yeah,
Easy one
it
to
is.
end the night.
Yeah. And finally, a 2-star from Goodreads. The things I do for book talk. But also, forgot to take my antidepressant last night, and this just gave me the biggest serotonin boost. I am laughing my damn ass off.
What's funny is that when I pulled that one, I totally skipped over the things I do for book talk. I just saw the antidepressant one. I was like, that's pretty funny.
It's especially appropriate because I forgot to take my Lexapro, and like I had a very similar experience.
Well, as always, we are going to run through the full plot, which for an 11-page-ish book, there's one in there. So we are going to run through the full plot. There will be spoilers. If you want to give Chuck Tingle his flowers, the link for this one will be in our show notes. This one is not on Kindle Unlimited. We did pay a whole $2.99 for this one, and it was money well spent.
Yeah. And like, you would think that like, I don't know, you're talking about like 20 cents per page even. But there's an additional story at the end included, as many Tinglers include.
Yeah.
I did not read the additional Tingler.
I didn't either.
Perhaps the additional Tinglers that we've collected from Chuck Tingle, there was one at the end of the Gay T-Rex law firm,
Yep.
and then there's one here. Maybe we'll do like maybe we'll launch a Patreon and get into, and we'll do some of the Tinglers for a bonus Patreon episodes.
It sounds like a plan. I think it's something we can do.
Maybe.
Chuck Tingle's going on tour.
I know. Yeah, we should post a link to that in our show notes as well, because I want to go.
I do too. There's tour stops in Boston and in New York City, and I want to go to one of them because they're both pretty close.
Are you ready to get into it?
Let's get into it.
This one started abruptly. I mean, not abruptly. This one started very realistic,
Yeah.
I guess I will say. So, our main character, Mark, has just moved into a new apartment. And apparently, it's not too far from his friend, Reed, who comes by to welcome him and to see the new place.
This was weird because it was like, they're not close.
They are obviously not close, because his friend shows up for the tour and is like, "I just can't believe you moved a few blocks away from me. That's cool, man." And he's like, yeah, it's cool. But like, he just moved into a studio apartment and he's trying to pretend that he moved into a 1 bedroom.
Mhm.
Where's the bed?
It seems like it's kind of a weird shaped room because he does see the bed.
Oh,
So
okay. Okay.
he points to, he's like, basically, my friend is like, oh,
I
yeah,
see.
it's so great to see you. And it doesn't seem like his words have any irony to them. Like, he's genuinely happy for him, happy that he's here, whatever.
Yeah.
But he's like, there's the bedroom, points to a door, and then immediately continues to move. And he's like, oh, man, let me see it.
Yeah.
He's like, no, there's still boxes, keep moving.
It's not unpacked yet.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
He's got a bookshelf over the sink, which sounds like a
An
accident
accident
waiting to
waiting to happen.
happen.
Completely agree. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna hang another bookshelf, and Reed kind of looks and he's like, where are you gonna hang the other shelves? Like there's apparently no space for more shelves.
It does sound like he is located in New York City, especially with the name we will get, which is Yorko.
Yeah. I was gonna say the eclectic employment of his neighbor also would point to New York City. So yes, you're right. Reed spots my bed in the corner. I thought you had a bedroom over there. Is this a studio? And he's like, no, 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 no. 1 bedroom, huge 1 bedroom with a deck. You want to see the deck? It's not a deck. It's not even a patio. I think it's just a balcony.
Yeah, with enough room for the two of them to sit there. That's all.
Yeah, which is fine. Like that's pretty damn good for New York, actually.
Yeah.
To have a private outdoor space, however teeny. The view is looking against the wall of a neighboring building, nothing but stark gray concrete measuring from the ground to some 3 stories up. If you tilt your head all the way back, you can catch a glimpse of the blue sky above. It sounds like New York.
This sounds like my hotel room the last time I was in New York. Like, it was a brick wall ahead of me, and if I looked at, like, just the right angle, you could kinda see
Yeah.
the, like, what is it called? The edge?
Yeah. Yeah.
You could kinda see it there,
That's
and that
funny.
was, like, but, yeah, it was a brick wall.
That's the view. So he is kind of trying to cover the modestness of the balcony and saying, I can sit here and read. Really nice to have a little fresh. And then a sudden bang causes Reed and I to flinch in unison. My friend is clearly flustered and confused, but I do my best to immediately ignore this interruption. Really nice to have a little fresh air, I repeat, kicking back in my chair and opening the book. And Reed goes, what was that sound? And Mark replies, what sound? Like, they're
It
obviously
was
not
a
close.
weird interaction. They are not close, or like Reed came from some big time money
Sure.
and he's like embarrassed. But also, it doesn't seem like Reed had mentioned he was coming over.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like he just kind of showed up, which there are certain people in my life that's fine.
Yeah.
Show up whenever.
Mhm.
But like outside of maybe 4 people.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Yeah. And like if you're just showing up, I kind of expect there to be an emergency.
Yeah.
My door is always open, but like you better have a good reason for not having informed me ahead of time.
Called ahead of
Yeah.
time.
Partially because like most of the people who they could show up unannounced
Yeah.
don't live in my city. Like they would have had to have gotten on a plane without calling me.
Yeah. Or at least do that, like, hey, I'm in the neighborhood. You home?
Right.
Courtesy call.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Yes. But this is fabulous because, I mean, we could have gone any direction with like loud neighbors or a crazy neighborhood. When we
Yeah.
first heard extremely loud, surprising bangs,
Mhm.
I firmly believed we were in not a great part of town.
Agreed. I did too.
But then I was confused because according to the beginning of this conversation, he moved in a few blocks from Reed. So Reed would be familiar with the sounds if that were the case.
Mhm.
So no, Mark finally breaks and he says, okay, fine. There's a balloon artist next door and he practices balloon animals all day. Like, he's really not good at balloon animals then.
No, I mean, there's people that can do it, and sometimes they just pop.
Okay, sure.
It also depends if it's the summertime, if it's too hot, that can be difficult.
Okay. I guess I've
I
just
would
not put in
there
a lot of thought.
I've seen some balloon animals in my day recently, in fact.
Okay. All right.
Make me a bicycle clown.
This admission kind of opens the floodgates, if you will, because he's trying to say it's fine. It's fine. Actually, it's not fine. The apartment isn't a one bedroom, it's a studio. That door back there leads to a closet. I had to move to this part of town for my new job, which is great in the long run, but to afford rent in this area, I had to accept a place next to the balloon man. Like,
I don't understand why it being a studio when you're a single man with no, like,
would
why is
be
it an
cause
issue?
for shame. Like,
Yeah, I don't understand why it's an issue.
I don't either, but I guess I find these days I have less and less understanding of men and what makes them tick and what causes them fucking shame. So sure. Be worried about this. Be worried about the studio apartment.
Mhm. Listen, he's an okay man from what we know.
Yeah, I know.
Not all men, but it's always a man.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
So Reed is like, hey, man, it's fine. It's fine that you're living in a studio. That's great. You know, you got a new job. It's got a higher salary. You're working with what you can. That's fine. Totally fine. No reason to be embarrassed. And he's like, I can't afford internet.
Internet. And, and his friend goes, even if you weren't doing this for a new job, it'd still be nothing to be embarrassed about. We're unwilling cogs in a brutal capitalist machine that's slowly grinding everyone to dust. And I was like, fuck yeah, Reed. Yeah. Fuck this capitalist hellscape. I have this conversation with my friends all the time. Like, whenever somebody has a bad day at work, like if somebody fucks up at work, they come to the group chat and they're like, I fucked up at work. And I'm like, hey, your worth is not determined by how effective you can be in this capitalist hellscape. And they're like, yo, you're right. You're right.
So we get Reed saying there's a little solution for all of your problems.
For a few of your problems. Reed does not go so far as to suggest that this will solve all of his problems.
That's true.
But Mark very much assumes this will solve all of his problems. And I'm not sure where he gets that idea.
Well, he also thinks that he's going to go on some, like,
Quest.
yes, a quest. And Reed says something that might help with the lack of space on your bookshelf and the lack of quiet time and the no internet. And says a library card. Did he have a hiccup? I don't understand how library card.
Yeah. And for the record, for the listeners who can't see this, it is spelled lie, Lie, space, Brer card. Brarikard. So it's like intentionally trying to be like a name.
Yeah.
But the problem is that Reed's dialogue would indicate that he is just straight up saying library card. But Mark is having a revelation. I find myself utterly dumbfounded, shocked by the revelation of this mysterious artifact that I'd never even heard of until today. Learning all the incredible things this item can accomplish has certainly piqued my interest, but I'm already preparing myself for a hefty price tag. How much to buy one, I question. Reed looks a little confused. They're free. You just have to go get it. I raise an eyebrow, suddenly realizing where this is headed. A quest, huh? My friend falters. I mean, sure.
Like, this is something I could see happening with me.
What?
I'm going on a quest. Not necessarily that I was like thinking that this was some magical artifact that I was going to find.
Sure.
But to say I'm going on a quest and someone being like, okay,
right, buddy.
sure you are.
You have fun. And so he goes, let's go. And Reed goes, well, actually, I was just stopping by for a minute. I have to roll. You can go on your own, though. And it says, I nod along, completely understanding. This is the kind of journey one must take alone, I observe. And Reed goes, sure, just head across the park that way.
So, like, he's not telling him where he should be going.
No.
He's not saying go to the library.
Go to the library, yeah. My friend points to the west. It's funny because, like, the way that the writing twisted ever so slightly. where
Mhm.
we started with a very realistic scene, and then it feels kind of like Mark had a complete and sudden break with reality.
Lobotomy.
Yeah. Where suddenly it kind of feels like a text adventure. Do you remember those, like, from the early internet days where it was like you find yourself in a room, there's a door to the west, like there's a
Yeah.
balcony to the north, like, and then you have to
There's some
Y
kid shows like that on Netflix still.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, there's a Barbie one that's a, like, choose your own adventure kinda thing.
That's quite fun. I
Yeah.
I like that type of media has not died out. But that's kind of what this felt like because it was like Reed pointed to the west and like
Yeah.
so then he it goes west. He goes west. He is excited for the little adventure. The second I cross the tree line of the park, I can feel a change in the air, a sense of adventure washing over me and coloring every step with a feeling of excitement and looming danger. Now,
I love that.
me too.
That's fantastic, but also, I mean, I guess in New York, it's a little easier to decipher east from west, but couldn't be me.
No,
You want me to go west? I'm gonna put it in my GPS because I don't know what way west is.
I identify with this because every time I move to a new city, the first thing I do, even before I like change my driver's license and shit, is go get a new library card. There have been places that I have lived where I did not have an updated driver's license, but I did have an updated library card.
So he's says I'm in the wilds now.
No.
Where?
Where? I have that highlighted because I'm like, no, you're not.
Not in the city. No way. Who knows what kind of wild beasts could be waiting in the underbrush? Ferocious creatures just waiting for their chance to pounce.
Okay. I can sense that something
Sure.
important is coming, the next step in my heroic journey. So, what this is why I feel like I was constantly just like pushed onto off balance, where like every time I think I understand what's going on, Chuck Tingle's like, no. Because my immediate impression was like, oh, this is a person who doesn't know what a library is or a
Yeah.
library card, which is why when his friend says library card, he is like, the name of some artifact that I've never
Yeah.
heard of. Sure. And then he emerges from the woods to find a massive building that looms before me in an open field of green grass. I prepare myself for a moment of awe, but the second I lay eyes on it, a twinge of disappointment courses through me. I stare, confused by this familiar public building. It's just the library. So he knows what a library is.
Yeah.
Why?
It reminds me a little bit of there's a Bluey episode called Born Yesterday. I think
I'm
I brought
shocked.
it up
You've
before.
talked about this exact episode of Bluey before.
Yeah, well, it's because it's like, how do you not know? So, as soon as he enters the library, sound disappears as I'm quickly enveloped in a wash of glorious, peaceful silence. It feels as though I've entered some mystical ancient temple, a place of reverence and secrecy. Now, going into a giant library,
Yes.
absolutely.
That is exactly what this feels like. It's about like walking into the Brooklyn Public Library or the New York Public Library, like the NYPL in Manhattan is just awe-inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like even walking into the Brooklyn Public Library, which is a gorgeous, gorgeous building, like I feel this. I feel this every time I walk into a library. Like,
Yeah.
This story spoke to me because I too feel that libraries feel like a mystical ancient temple, a place of reverence and secrecy. And that like somewhere within these walls, an answer to my problems is buried deep under the foundation in some massive labyrinth. Like abso-fucking-lutely, this is the power of libraries.
Yeah.
But Mark walks in. The entrance foyer is lined with brick, and I immediately begin to press any suspicious rectangles, hoping one might trigger the abrupt reveal of a secret passageway.
What is that Nicolas Cage movie where they're trying to steal the...
Yeah. National Treasure.
Yeah, I feel like he's this.
Yeah.
Like, he did some weird shit like that.
Absolutely
in that
he
movie.
did. That's what we're here for. And of course, someone nearby is like, can I help you?
Which is, if they're in New York, no, they're not, because they're used to someone coming in and just pressing at
I
things.
mean, at the front desk,
Maybe not.
I feel like she would question if she could help you. Not because you're pressing
That's fair.
rectangles, but because you've just entered the building, and that's kind of
Yeah,
what her
okay.
job is.
That's fair. So he goes, I need the magical library card. And she's like, oh, you don't need to go downstairs for that. Here, come fill out the paperwork
Yeah.
right here for me. And he goes, this is for a library card.
Right?
I'm looking for a library card.
I'm losing my mind because, like, what do you mean you know what a library card is? And you're
Yeah.
still being confused. That's
Yep.
crazy. The words catch in my throat right as I reach the end of my sentence, a stark realization erupting through my veins with an icy chill. So he realizes that his friend was like, you should get a library card. And he was like, the library card. He sounds like
A
Megamind.
quest. I mean, this is something that I would think about for weeks after
Oh, yeah.
and avoid read for months.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And so the woman is like, you don't want a library card? And he was like, no, I mean, sure. I'm sorry. My friend told me this could solve a few problems of mine. Like it was some kind of magical key. I guess he was just messing with me. And she's like, well, a library card certainly won't solve all of your problems, but like it can solve a few. What's going on? And he explains, he goes, I don't have any peace and quiet at home. And she goes, it's quiet here. And he goes, I'm running out of room for my books. And she goes, you bring your library books back when you're done. No clutter. And he goes, well, what about the internet? Which like, she doesn't know that he can't afford internet. Like, so this question kind of doesn't make any sense. Like, what about the internet? Like,
what about it?
what about it? And she smiles and she says, we have that too. And he thinks, I'm still skeptical that something as easy and free as a library card could actually help me with all of these things. But at this point, I have nothing left to lose. I've trekked all the way here, so I might as well fill out this form.
I mean, librarians are angels.
Yes.
Truly.
They are.
So this was a perfect little piece in here.
Yeah, and very realistic.
Before she goes, when I glance up again, I jump in alarm, discovering a massive public library card floating in the air before me. And the librarian smiles and says, Yorko can show you around. What?
Why is his name Yorko?
I don't know.
I kept expecting him to have like
does the New York Public Library have like a specific?
I hadn't even thought about that. Yorko library mascot? Well, Patience and Fortitude are the lions that stood outside of the New York Public Library. But Yorko is not anything. I kept kind of expecting there to be like a last name.
Yeah. But no, he's just Yorko.
So that it would like be a pun of like your cocksucker or something, you know, like something that would make sense with this. But no, his name is just Yorko.
Yeah. The plastic blue rectangle extends his hand, with which I accept in a firm shake. So she's like, Yorko will show you around. Yorko gives him a tour of the library. And at the end of the tour, he says, I have to admit, library cards are actually pretty cool. And he goes, actually pretty cool? And then we get, it's only now I realize just how handsome the sentient library card is. The plastic rectangle's playful grin cutting through my heart with unexpected depth. My breath catches in my throat as this surge of arousal pulses through me, not yet sure how to handle these erotic aches.
Yep.
Oh, hormone surge.
Yep. Mm-hmm. This was exceptionally interesting to me because, like, if Yorko were female, this would obviously be a brush off because Yorko says, well, that's the tour. You want me to help you find your way back to the front of the library? And Mark says, maybe there's a little more to see. And Yorko's expression flickers slightly, but he doesn't respond. And Mark continues, I mean, if you're allowed to show me something else, I'm curious what else comes with my library card. And then Yorko replies, on the clock, that's everything. But what I do after hours is my business. Like, this is a brush off.
Kind of. But not really.
If a woman said this to a man who was making a suggestive comment about what else came with his
Yeah,
library
but I
card.
don't think they wouldn't say what I do after hours is my own business. Like, that's the invitation there.
I don't know.
They'd say, "Nope, that's everything. That's all we got.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I can show you to
Yeah.
the door."
I guess you're right. So Mark says, "When do you get off?" Which is very suggestive, and I do love a double entendre.
Yes.
And the sentient card smirks and says, "Right now." And he turns and leads Mark deeper into the stacks. We are already in a distinctly unpopulated part of the library, but soon enough, we push through a door to reveal an area that appears as though it's been empty for years. Once again, shoving me off balance, I gasp as I witness the glorious chamber before me, torches hanging on the wall and casting their flickering golden light across the ceiling above. This room is made entirely of ancient sandstone, some long-forgotten temple of magic and mystery.
This kind of reminded me of, I hate to say it, Kiss of the Basilisk.
Okay.
When they all go into I guess, big temple.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
So, unfortunately, that's what that reminded me of a little bit.
I also take a little issue.
Mhm.
Mark says, "Wait, what? I thought there was no mystical labyrinth hidden within the library." And Yorko says, "I never said that." My gaze lifts, taking in the incredible images of science fiction and fantasy that are painted in vivid color across the cracked stone ceiling. Don't lump those two together. That's wildly different. That's wildly different imagery. And like, if you're in like a mystical labyrinth hidden beneath the library, you're not going to have aliens alongside dragons.
You never know.
This was rage bait specifically for me, and it worked.
Chuck Tingle was like, "Let me see if I can get Elle to go off on this one."
Yeah. Yes. I have a bone to pick with you, Chuck.
So, Yorko starts to strut toward him. They meet in a fit of passion, deeply kissing one another and losing ourselves in the moment. Great.
Yep.
I am still having a hard time with the fact that he's
A big
a
rectangle.
big rectangle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like,
Uh-huh.
where are your hands going?
Yeah. Where's the face?
Yeah.
How does he
that
have a neck?
too. Also, though, the SNL sketches with Justin Timberlake and Jimmy Fallon, and it's like, "Come on down to Pizzaville," or whatever.
No, but it's striking a very distant bell.
So, in one of them, he's like a giant pizza.
Oh, yeah, there you
So
go.
he's like a big triangle, and his face is just kind of there through the little hole. So I guess that.
Yep, that seems appropriate. The library card begins tearing away my clothes, exposing my body to the cool air of this mysterious hidden temple. I am confused by the card begins to grind against me, the movement of his hips doing all the begging he needs. No words leave Yorko's lips, but there's no questioning the touch that he craves as his cock swells just below my fingertips.
All of a sudden, they're naked.
Yeah. Oh, they are naked. And I don't know if he had clothes to begin with. The sentient object's member grows larger, eventually transforming into a fully developed tower of stark blue manhood. His dick points at me like an arrow. It just
It knows what it wants.
it grew out of nothing.
I can appreciate when it can grow out of nothing and then get tucked back in as though nothing was there before. Makes it a little bit more publicly acceptable to go back out after if it's just going to disappear,
Sure.
especially if it's not wearing any clothes.
Yeah. That's fine. Fine. So Mark drops to his knees, enthusiastically sucks him off. He reaches up with one hand and cradles the card's hanging balls. Where have those been?
Yep. They drop down too.
I guess. We get a very descriptive sentence about deep throating Yorko's cock, plunging it all the way down until my face is pressed up against Yorko's flat library card abs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's time for you to check me out. There we go. Another good double entendre. And he gets down on his hands and knees and starts to wiggle his ass as he crawls away from the library card.
Yes.
Now, there is no lube. That should have been in our trigger warning.
You're so right. He doesn't even like spit or anything. There
No.
is no lubrication whatsoever.
I can feel him teasing me, pressing against my anal seal, and then pulling back in a series of playful movements. And then I let out a startled gasp as the living object enters my body, not entirely prepared for the size of his mighty rod. Not prepared at all.
No.
There was no prep work done at all.
Nope. I can feel the library card's giant member stretching me out, taking my body to the absolute limits as a wave of aching discomfort washes over me.
Doesn't sound great.
No.
Yorko slows it down a bit.
Uh-huh.
The discomfort slowly goes away.
Yep.
Yorko is apparently very experienced because he knows exactly what he needs to do to get Mark to that point.
Yep. And then Mark reaches down and beats himself off while Yorko's fucking him.
I hate that.
Really?
Beats himself off.
Yeah, it does say beating. He says beating myself off in time with Yorko's movements.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, the action of it, fine.
Okay, I was like, what's wrong with that?
The action of it is great.
Yeah.
Like, they're both going to get what they need. But, no, the words of...
Yes. The next thing I know, I'm erupting in a powerful fit of orgasm, throwing my head back in a wild howl as I lose myself in the movement. Warmth overwhelms me. Every one of my senses kicked into overdrive as white-hot jizz erupts from the head of my shaft. Pearly cum splatters across the temple floor in glorious patterns.
No. Don't like it. But Yorko keeps the pace, and then as soon as Mark is done, he pushes deep and erupts with an orgasm of his own. I can feel the living library card seed spilling out into my ass, filling me up and spurting from the edges of my tightly packed rim.
It runs down the back of my legs in thick, warm streaks.
Nope. Thank you.
And that was incredible, Mark says. And Yorko replies, library cards are pretty great. And Mark replies, I've got a lot on my plate, and I know a library card isn't going to solve the crushing weight of a greed-fueled system based on soul-shredding capitalism run wild. I mean, not even close. But a library card is going to give me a very few important things, and that's a start. Life's not easy, and humanity has made some pretty dumb decisions over the years, but I'm happy to be here in the presence of one thing that we actually kind of got right.
And then they're still naked.
Yeah.
And they gaze up at the ceiling, not in any hurry to leave. He lets his imagination wander through these fantastical scenes a little longer. And that is where we end.
Indeed. How would you rate this one?
This is like a 2 for me. It was a little too all over the place. I like the concept of it is great.
Yeah.
I want more after, like, I need my book aftercare almost.
Yep.
I need
more
more information.
Jump right into another tingler that's called I Have No Butt and I Must Pound. No,
maybe.
that's not book aftercare.
Maybe tomorrow. What about you?
I think I'm going with 2.5. I'm in
Okay.
a similar boat where I think the idea is more amenable to me than its execution. But it made me laugh a lot and it kept me guessing and I enjoyed the overall messaging. So I think for what it is, I'm happy with my $2.99 paid.
Yes, I agree. It was not money wasted by any means.
No. So it's time for my favorite part. How did you cast this?
This was kind of a lazy cast, I'm not going to lie.
All right, tell me more.
So for Mark, I went with Connor's story.
This is a lazy cast because
it was a lazy cast because for Yorko, the library card, I went with Hudson Williams. It was lazy, I know it, but you know what? Keep giving those two men jobs together because their chemistry is undeniable.
It's true. It's so true. I love this. No notes, no commentary. That's perfect. Okay, so we are going to be off next week, taking a well-deserved vacation. But when we come back, what book will we be reading, Kay?
When we come back, we will read Romanced by the Rat by G.M. Ferry. And this has some Ratatouille vibes, I
Are we
believe.
even allowed to say Ratatouille? Don't come for us, Disney. I think it's in the
Yeah, I know.
Goodreads description.
Is it?
Actually, I don't know.
Probably not.
No, you're so right.
So it is Romanced by the Rat. It is has vibes to a particular rat with some hair pulling tendencies to
Yes.
turn the man into a marionette of sorts. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. Yep.
Have you been reading anything else lately?
I have. I finally
Nice.
exited my reading slump, I feel like.
Nice.
Which was it's crazy. I feel like the number of weeks in a row that I've just been like, no, I haven't read anything except for like 11-page smut,
Yeah, that's fine.
So I read The Night Ends with Fire by KX Song. And I think I mentioned this one, but it is Mulan inspired.
Ooh.
Yes. And it's the first in a duology, so I'm now partway through the sequel, which is called The Dragon Wakes with Thunder. And it's super, super good. Like it's
Really?
I mean, like I would be careful. Like I wouldn't call it's not a romantasy. It is like a historical fantasy with romantic elements. There are a lot of Mulan vibes, but the author was like, what if Mulan wanted more? Like, because a lot of like the portrayals of Mulan, who is based on a real person from Chinese history, are basically like she did what she had to save her father. And then after the war, she went back to being like living as a woman in society. And I think the real like fable of Mulan has her like winning the war, and then the emperor asks her to be a concubine afterward. And yeah, right? Men. And instead of doing that, like she, I believe, chooses not to exist in the world anymore.
Oh.
Uh-huh. This story is predicated on what if she wanted more? What if she wanted more than her station? What if she was greedy and ambitious? And like, it's such an interesting take because I had conflicting emotions about this as a flawed female character who had ambition and greed and like wanted. And like it made me uncomfortable because like I had to like sit there and assess like, oh, that's not good that I'm like kind of judging her for like not being content with what she has, like constantly wanting more at the end of all of this. The first one did not have like I would not call it a happy ending, and like the second one is like a different vibe and very interesting also, but I devoured the first one.
Really? Okay.
Just like I sped through it in like maybe a day and a half.
Wow, okay.
It really, really like sparked a fire in me, if you will.
I
So
love that.
The Night Ends in Fire by KX Song. Highly, highly recommend. Yeah. Are you reading anything outside of the podcast?
I have been very ill for very many days the past couple weeks. So I have just been trying to stay upright when I can.
Yep.
So I have not read anything other than this week's book.
And no shame. I hope you get a lot of rest and drink a lot of water.
I have. I think I went through a 5-gallon jug of water by myself in a week.
Oh, brutal.
If you made it this far, we appreciate you. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, tell your friends, leave some comments. If you listened to the episode from 2 weeks ago, before the end of the weekend, we had a nice little surprise visit from Thea Mason herself, so that got added on to that episode. So go ahead and give that one a peek. But we appreciate you. Thank you for listening. And with that,
we're at our wits' end.
I'll see you next time.